So we have a pause power clean here with a pause below the knee. We'll play it at speed. So we're doing this mostly to work on first pull off the ground, which I'm actually pretty happy with here, right? So in this position, the starting position is pretty good. Maybe a little bit too much of an arch. I like to see that chin down, but that's okay. Then as we come up off the floor, we want to see the knees go back, the bar go back, right? So we can nitpick that a little bit and ask for more bar back, but that's really not too bad, right? That back angle stays relatively consistent. The knees travel backwards, and the bar does come back a little bit. Then what we have next is when we actually start this pull, we're going to see is heels start to come up here, so definitely early. Then this position here actually doesn't look too bad, right? Straight up and down. But what's missing in between is the power position, right? So what needs to happen instead is as this bar travels back up the thigh, we need to see the knees start to come under the bar, so that ideally right about these frames here, rather than being extended, you would actually have, let me see if I can draw it, something that looked like that's the femur, that's the shin, that's the torso, and we'll say the bar is here, right? And then that's going to be the extension position. But what happens instead is bar comes off the thigh early, never actually get back into that power position, heels leave the ground early, still good vertical extension, you manage to get up under its lightweight, but you still kind of have that little bit of a scoot. So what needs to happen instead, and so this is kind of interesting because this position actually looks pretty good, right? Like I said, we can nitpick a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with this. The hips are back. But what I think is going on here is that even though this position looks right, I still don't actually think you're creating any tension. I'll make that arrow go the other way. In the hamstrings, right? So given that you're hypermobile, you can put yourself in positions that look right, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily doing it right. So what I think needs to happen here is that this looks pretty good, and that's okay. I'm okay with it, but I need you to actively create tension in this hamstring here, right? Because it's not enough for you to just stick your butt back, because most people who are not as flexible as you can stick their butt back and automatically get hamstring tension. You don't necessarily have that automatic tension reflex. So for you, you're going to have to purposefully create it, right? So we could say, yeah, maybe we want the bar back a little more, maybe we want the hips back a little more in this position, but it's really not bad. I think it's more about the intention to actually create that tension there, and then use that and keep it as long as possible, right, which will then get you that double knee bend where the knees come under the bar, and ideally pull will happen a little bit later.